Across different continents, very different cultures show a similar outcome: longer, healthier lives. Today we look at 4 long-term studies: vegetarian, American, Mediterranean, and Japanese. Different populations, different foods, but one pattern. These are 4 well-studied ways of living, each examined in large long-term research studies: a vegetarian lifestyle, a healthy American lifestyle, a Mediterranean lifestyle, and a Japanese traditional lifestyle. Different cultures, different dietary traditions, yet all linked to longer and healthier lives. This Harvard analysis followed more than 123,000 Americans for over 3 decades. Those who consistently followed 5 healthy habits lived dramatically longer. Women gained up to 14 additional years of life. Men gained up to 12. This is not a small effect. These studies come from the Adventist Health Study 2, published in JAMA, Internal Medicine, 2013. It followed more than 73,000 North American participants. This group is particularly useful for research because smoking rates were very low and lifestyle factors are relatively stable, which helps researchers isolate dietary patterns. Participants were followed for several years and researchers compared vegetarians with non-vegetarians, and what they found was significant. Overall, vegetarians had a 12% lower risk of death compared with non-vegetarians. When broken down further, pescatarians, those who included fish, had nearly a 19% lower risk of death. Even vegans showed about a 15% reduction. They also had lower rates of heart disease and diabetes. So within one relatively similar population, dietary pattern alone was associated with measurable differences in long-term outcomes. Mediterranean way of life. This evidence comes from PREDIMED trial conducted in Spain. This was not just an observational study. It was a randomized controlled trial, which is considered one of the strongest forms of medical research. More than 7,400 participants at a high cardiovascular risk were enrolled. They were randomly assigned to follow a Mediterranean-style diet enriched with either extra virgin olive oil or nuts and compared with a control diet. Participants were followed for nearly 5 years. The Mediterranean pattern emphasized vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts, olive oil as the main fat, moderate fish, and limited red or processed meat. The results were striking. There was a 30% reduction in major cardiovascular events, including heart attacks and strokes. This is a very substantial reduction in risk. So while this study did not directly measure years added, it clearly demonstrated improved cardiovascular outcomes. And that is consistent with the longevity signals seen in other populations. Japanese traditional way of life. Now let's move to Japan. This evidence comes from the Japan Public Health Center study, a very large population-based cohort. Nearly 140,000 participants were enrolled. The study began in 1990 and followed people for more than 15 to 20 years. Their diet and lifestyle patterns were tracked over time. Researchers looked at adherence to a traditional Japanese eating pattern. The pattern emphasized vegetables, soy foods, fish, seaweed, seasonal whole foods, moderate portions, and a lower red and processed meat. What did they find? Higher adherence to this traditional pattern was associated with lower total mortality. There was also lower cardiovascular mortality, and participants showed better overall metabolic health markers. So again, different culture, different cuisine, different continent, but the direction of effect is the same. Now, what did they have in common? Now, here is the most important question. What did all these different cultures have in common? They did not eat the same food. They did not follow the same religion. They did not live in the same country. But their patterns overlapped. 1. Mostly whole, minimally processed foods. All 4 emphasize mostly whole, minimally processed foods. High vegetables, high fiber, limited refined sugar, moderate portions, not extreme dieting, not eliminating fats, just real food. Healthier body weight. They tended to maintain a healthier body weight, not necessarily thin, but metabolically healthier. 3. Low smoking rates. In every long-living population, smoking rates were low. That signal is consistent across continents. 4. Regular physical activity. Movement was built into daily life. Not necessarily gym culture, but walking, working, staying alive, and active. 5. Strong social and community connections. And importantly, strong social connection, family, community, shared meals, purpose. So perhaps the lesson is this. It is not one magic drug. It is a pattern of living. Different cuisines, same principles. Let's pause for a moment. After looking at all these studies, what is the big takeaway? There's no single magic diet. There's no magic food. And there's certainly no magic pill. Across different cultures and across different study designs, observational, cohorts, randomized trials, population studies, the pattern is remarkably consistent. Real, minimally processed food, a healthier body weight, non-smoking, regular movement, strong social connection. These principles show up again and again in America, in Spain, in Japan, in faith-based communities, in traditional societies. Different cultures, similar health patterns. And perhaps this is reassuring. You do not need to eat like someone in Okinawa. You do not need to eat like someone in California. You do not need to follow a perfect diet. You can adapt the principles. Healthy eating, plus healthy living are consistently associated with longer, healthier lives. Thank you for watching.